Hello, I'm old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com. That's my website. And in my last video that I put up, it was a e-bike ride, and it just so happened that during that ride, I hit 700 miles on this E-Trike. I keep calling them a bike, but anyway, it's because I had a bike for years. Anyway, I hit 700 miles, and I got to thinking afterwards. I thought, I wonder if I was supposed to be doing some maintenance, like, at 500 miles or something like that. So I looked it up, and I was supposed to be starting to do maintenance every 100 miles. Not maintenance, but, you just do a checkup. And so here I am at 700. And so on page 56 of the manual, if you have a manual, you can download them off of the internet. Anyway, on page 56, it tells you the things you need to do at the different mileage places. And so when I looked this morning, it was like I'm way behind. But I do want to check two things in this video. Number one is the brake shoes, the brake pads, and number two is lubricate the things that move all the time. I'm not going to go into all the other stuff that they tell you to do, like how to tighten the spokes to adjust the wheel, stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. So we'll go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take out the brake pads and look at them and see if they're worn out. Okay, and so that's our first step, and then we'll do the oiling after we check them and put it back together. All right. Well then, let's get started. Well, as you can see, I've got the bike laid over on its side because it's easier to make a video with it that way, and I can get the wheel to turn and all that stuff. So we're going to go over here to the front wheel and take a look at the brake caliper, and I'll get the camera fixed right here. Hang on a second. Okay, that's going to be about right there. We have to pause to get the tools. Okay, in order to do this job, we need a pair of long nose pliers, and we need, you need a number 3 metric Allen wrench. All right, so I carry a metric tools set like you just saw everywhere I go on my bike, just in case. So this is the caliper here, and the brake pads are inside right in here, and they're held in place with this little bolt that goes through here. And so we've got to unscrew that. All right, and we don't want to lose that because it'd be hard to keep the brakes in place without it. So we'll see if we can get that out there with our fingers. And then we put it into our shirt pocket or somewhere. Then we're going to find a safe place to put that where we're not going to lose it before we finish this job. So the next thing we do is we have to pull this springy thing out of there. And I'll try not to bump the camera while I'm doing it. Let's see. Okay, there, now you don't have a shadow. And I'm kind of clumsy, but it doesn't really want to come out. Yes, it does. Okay, here we go. Okay, and there's the 2 brake pads right there, and they're held in place. By the way, you really shouldn't be touching it with your fingers, but they're held in place with this spring. Okay, you see that spring? Let me pull the other one out. Okay, and then to inspect them, they need to be, see, we'll lay that right there. They need to be thick right in through there. And so that one's not worn out. And we'll look at the other one here. And it's not worn out. So they're in pretty good shape. And you can see the thickness right there. All right, so now we have to, now that we've inspected it, we put it back together. And that just sits on there like so. Okay, it didn't stay like I wanted it. Okay, so that's on there, and we'll get the other one on there. And it looks like that one's not quite on properly. Yep, it is. Okay, so we're all set. So now we just have to get that back in there. Let's see if I can do it without making a shadow. Get it in there. And then the shoes, the brake pads, have to slip over this right here, which they might just do that automatically. I practiced this before doing this, and eventually you can get them to go on by turning the wheel. There we go. Okay, we got it in, and it looks like, if you can see this little notch here, it looks like they might have those in there in order to make these slide right on. That could be. Okay, now I'm going to go find the bolt that I put in a safe place and be right back. That you can go to Lectric bikes, and I'll put it in the description, but there's a link to how to do this the proper way. Only they do it on a bike, and instead of using a pin that screws in, you'll see there's some threads right there. They use a pin that has a cotter pin on the other side. So if you watch that video, you'll see that they do it a little different. But this is nice because it threads right in if you get everything lined up, and you don't have to mess around with a cotter pin. So we'll get that in there. Make sure the wheel turns. Get that in there. Okay. So we'll, let's see, get it really good and tight like it was. All right, so that's the adjustment, or not the adjustment, but the inspection of the brake pads. Now I'm going to show you some other things about the brakes that I've learned, and I'll share them with you. And so stand by for a minute or two. Actually, we'll just go straight there on the video. All right, so let's take a look at that. Okay, when I first got this E-Trike, and it had these emergency brakes on it, which are for parking. And let's go to the other side, because that one's got a shadow on it. Okay, so it's got these little click things you can click on there, and the wheels won't turn. It sets the brakes. All right. The only thing is when I first got it, I was especially on. Let's just move the camera so we don't have a shadow. There, that's better. Now let's make sure we got it right here. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. Especially with this one, I had a hard time I couldn't pull hard enough on this in order to get that to stay in. So one thing I learned in the process of getting it in easy is you pull back on this. If you're going to park your bike, you pull back on that first and then pull the brake and it stays. That's a lot easier than pulling this and then trying to get it to work and trying to get it to work. So pull back on that and then put the brake on and it stays. Also, let's see if I can get this turned around here without knocking the camera over. I think you can see, let's make sure we got it right. Let's get this a little closer. Okay, they've got a little set screw right there. And that set screw determines how far back this lever goes before it puts the brakes on. And you can go in there. This is a number 2 millimeter Allen wrench. And you can go in there and adjust that so that, like for instance, to make it easier to set your brake, you would unscrew this so that this comes back further. Okay? Right now I got it set. I don't want to mess it up, but that's adjustable so that you can get this to come back. So if you got a new bike and you're having a hard time getting these set, unscrew that a little bit, and then this will come back farther. And when that comes back farther, it's easier to set the brake. So anyway, that's something that I thought probably I should point out because it took me a while to find that little guy. And then, like I said, if you're going to set your brake, pull that in and then put the brake on. And it works a whole lot better. Okay, now we're going to do some oiling. So let's go to that. Okay, well, I'm running out of time. So we're going to skip the oiling and put that on a different video. I want to thank you for watching this one. And God bless.